kind of a fly by the seat of our pants operation here, so
It's
we
true.
we don't really care. So Cyrus, what's up, man? Welcome.
Hey, thank you so much. Great to be here.
We are live. I did tell people that we were going to grill you on your horror knowledge.
Okay,
Really?
I'm ready. Like,
You're ready. I believe you, man.
as well.
Ooh.
I came into Cyrus's live stream chat maybe a few weeks ago, and I kind of felt bad. I ended up leaving because I was like, Cyrus is only responding to my comments, and everyone else is getting ignored. So I appreciate all that.
No, of course.
Attention.
There wasn't much going on in that comment section. It was just, just like riffing. And I was like, all right, well, I had time to have an open dialogue a little bit.
I just saw your passion for horror in there because I was the one talking about it, and you were like, "I'm going to talk about anything horror I can."
Yes, yeah, I'm a huge fan of the genre. Have been since I was a kid. And The Exorcist was. You guys saw that? That's awesome. I didn't know that.
Well, we're actually in the middle of watching it. So we finished season 1 and I don't remember how many episodes into season 2, but we were hoping to get caught up before talking to you, but alas.
So yeah, I watched The Exorcist when it came on.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was great. And then, I went back through and I saw you and I was like, oh yeah, shit. Okay. I want to rewatch it before he comes on. Which is exciting. So we're going back through. It's a great show, man. It really is a great show. And it's cool that you got to be a part of it. Thank you. Super quiet. Can everybody hear Cyrus pretty well? Because I can hear you okay, but I just want to make sure that's not our speakers. Is it because of we have it's the volume. It's our volume. Never mind. You're fine. Okay. I was wondering. Okay. So we turned that down. Okay. So, my first question to you is, I have noticed the trend of you getting kind of typecasted as a bully. Is this like something that you're okay with? And like, do you want to continue to keep playing bullies indefinitely?
Okay. Yeah. And I've heard this a lot. I read more reviews than I probably should. Whenever something I'm in comes out, I don't know if it's an addiction from as a kid being super into movie culture, but I do read a lot of reviews, and one of the first things I'm told is don't read any reviews. I also, something that I love about your guys' channel is that you give everything a fair shake. Like, you reviewed a school shooting movie I was in.
Yeah, Run, Fight, Hide.
Fight. Mm-hmm. And there was a lot of vitriolic about it. I don't know whether it was rightful or not, but part of the thing about this recent renaissance for me about playing these bully characters is it's kind of therapeutic. I've definitely been bullied throughout most of my childhood, and as a kid, kind of being stigmatized by even gym teachers about weight or things like that built up a lot of rooted insecurities in me that made me, for lack of a better word, like insecure and very sensitive about the subject matter of like ridiculing people. And so I never really got cast as a bully my whole childhood, from even as a teenager, until I did 8-Bit Christmas. And that was, to me, it's not about playing the bully. It's not about an archetype. I feel like Kenny in Mr. Harrigan's Phone, I was doing, basically, me and John, all we wanted to do was do like what a bully with like overwhelming OCD would do. Like, just like complete obsession and like a genuine, like, foreboding, creepy atmosphere, which I can't bring to something like 8-Bit Christmas. Like, there's no room for that. Like, that's a very broad comedy, and I really got to let loose and do a lot of improv with that. And same for Just Beyond. I feel like which, again, that really was touching watching that review, because it was just great because I remember you guys were asking the kids about which was their favorite episode, and they were like, "Ah, that bully freaked me out."
Yeah.
It was just really sweet to see that, and to be a part of that experience. That was just like that's really cool. That's why I love doing this. So to me, it's not about it. I feel like the only way there would be an inherent frustration for me to be playing bully characters would be if I tie the way that I see myself to what other people may say. And there were different horror channels that I'm a fan of that were like, oh yeah, and the guy who plays the bully, guess what? He plays the bully. And there's something almost thrilling about that. Like, okay, like if I play another bully, like what am I going to do different this time? Like I let go of I got to release my comedic chops with 8-Bit Christmas Just Me On. And then I did like this super serious, creepy version. It's almost like a challenge for me. And also, it depends on the project. Like, I feel like I feel like it's a combination of there being an almost cathartic experience of being like, okay, now I get to be the perpetrator of all this torment to kids in a really dark way. But it's also combined with the fact that, like, I didn't even assign Mr. Harrigan's phone into the bully archetype like at all. Like I don't think Kenny is a bully. Like I think he's just like a really obsessive, volatile, pathetic person. And that is not the bully quote unquote mentality. And there was and even from like the stages of conception with Kenny, the original script was much more faithful to the Stephen King-esque bully. But then when we started playing around, that's when we kind of got into more of like, well, you know, maybe this is like less give me your money and more like I really want to hang out with you, like in a really creepy way. And so to me, I was never thinking about it from like, oh, here's another bully and here's another bully. It was, okay, here's this guy who got held back 10 years in 8-Bit Christmas. Here's this like extremely spoiled kid. And here is this like really obsessive lone wolf. And it wasn't, and that's like at the total risk of me sounding pretentious, but it was totally about, it was not at all about, that's not how I dictate like characters. I totally see why. Like they're I mean, I get it. Like I'm me and I'm gonna do my version of a character and they're all bullies. And in one way or another. I still don't label Kenny as a bully correctly, but Josh Jagorsky and Trevor, there are definitely similarities in those guys.
So I'm gonna fact check you a little bit on this because in Hardcore Henry, you have a cast listing as young bully number 2.
Yes. Yes. And they did an animated Diary of the Wimpy Kid, and I voiced a bully. So, no, this is yes.
Are you going to be a bully transformer in this Transformers show that you're going to be on?
No, that character is a sweetheart. Henry was crazy though. I was like 10. And I was so scared. Like the director Aya Naysholler, he was like showing dailies to all the kids, like this ultra violent, like horrific, like videos, which in retrospect are awesome. But at the time I was like, don't show me like this cyborg shooting people. But now I'm like, that's awesome. And so
we're talking about Hardcore Henry.
Yeah. Sorry.
I love that film. That's probably one. I never use this word, but I mean, I guess I'll say underappreciated. That's one of the most underappreciated action movies ever to me. I love it. And I've always championed that film. And I feel like so many people hate it so unjustly. I think it's such an inventive, wild, cool film. And I was really like, I don't remember you in it. I'd have to go back. I'm sure it's like a super bit like moment.
It's the first shot of the movie, and then I'm not in it anymore.
Okay.
But
that was really when I saw you in the listings when I was going through your filmography to brush up on it. I was like, Hardcore Henry, how fucking cool is that?
I haven't seen this one. Is this the one that's like the point of view?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm very interested in watching it though.
Yeah.
Right.
I've seen pretty much every point of view movie at this point. And at this point, like there was only one I didn't like, but everything else I've really enjoyed. I really like that style of filmmaking. You know, Maniac with Elijah Wood obviously is like my favorite of those.
Sure.
But Hardcore Henry's right up there. I need to rewatch it. It's been a while. She'd probably hate it. She's not a big action fan.
I'm curious about the film style though, for sure. So,
Yeah.
you know,
It's just,
I like some actiony things. I'm learning
like
to appreciate.
video game on crack.
Okay.
Yeah.
It almost reminds me of Crank.
Crank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
so
Crank.
It's got that flavor to it too. You've never seen
No.
Crank. It's Crank 1 and 2, High Voltage. Those movies are insane. Absolutely insane. Have you seen those movies with Jason Statham?
I've seen Crank. I love Jason Statham. I think he's hilarious and awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm a huge fan of those filmmakers as well. Just like in your face.
They go
crazy.
balls to the wall.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Totally.
What do we got? We got quick thoughts on Russian movie The Bride. I don't know anything about this film.
Anything about that film either.
You ever heard of it?
Oh, nope.
Me neither.
Nope.
If I haven't heard of it, it doesn't exist. Barbarian is one of my new favorite mainstream horror movies of all time, a masterpiece. Also here, Smile is great. Seems like 2020s are the best decade of horror since the 1980s. No, the 2010s.
Yeah.
The 2010s were phenomenal.
Really? I think
yeah.
I think 2020 is actually, or 2010s is actually better than the 80s, and I've went on record saying this, and I will take anyone to court on that one.
Onto court.
Yeah, I'm willing to go to battle on that one. I think that the 2010s has the most consistent variety of great horror to pick from. I think that the 80s has a lot of like, you know, iconic like titles that are nostalgic, but there is a lot of shit. There is a lot of trash, as there is in any era of film. But what do you think? What would be your favorite era of horror?
Man, that's a tough one. I think that horror is set. It's the thing about it is that 80s was like the green light era. Sure. If you have a script and it's under 500,000, make it. And there are so many different facets of the 80s that are great, not even limited to movies. Like I think the anthologies like Tales from the Dark Side or Tales from the Crypt. I just rewatched that Robert Zemeckis episode and All Through the House. Highly recommended, like a must watch for the Christmas
season. You ever seen the original?
The Amicus films?
Yeah.
The bits and pieces. I haven't. I think I wonder if I've seen that Santa segment in the Amicus film. I'm not sure. The best era for me, I don't know. I think that we might be living in it. I think that I don't like to associate horror by decade though, because to me, like I feel like halfway through a decade is when horror takes kind of like a shift for better or worse. Like I think the early 2010s was like a pretty, I mean, there were definitely like you got your Sinister and some interesting stuff, but like the franchises were kind of dead at that point. It was still like kind of a remake trend, and I feel like it was the late 2010s where you got like some really smart contemporary stories as well as like innovative ways to kind of reinvigorate these franchises. So, and also the 90s, it's like I feel like the first half of the 90s is kind of like the sister to the late 80s, and then Scream was released and then kind of changed everything, and so or not, I don't know. That's a big talking point. Do you think that Scream made such an impact on the horror genre as some do?
So I mean, I made a video on this titled "Scream Did Not Save Horror." And I'm very, very, opinionated on that topic. Because I do go through the history of 90s horror, right? And I point out the titles that we were getting pre-Scream, because we got to remember that Scream didn't come out till December of 1996, right? So we can't really credit anything when it comes to like what Scream influenced until at least films that went into production in early 97, right? Because like Scream didn't hit its height until almost 1997. And anything greenlit after that fact, right? Because I think if you take something like I Know What You Did Last Summer, which came out the next year, it's like, did that come out because of Scream, or was it greenlit because Scream looked like it was going to track well or whatever? Probably. But I think that the late 90s is arguably the worst era for horror ever. I hate it. I think it is like watered down CW style horror. And I don't hate the CW. I actually really like the Arrowverse, but like, I'm just saying the whole, like, let's put a pretty face in front of the camera. Let's get it real glossy, and let's cut out all the kills. So if you look at the titles pre-Scream, the stuff that we were getting in the horror genre, we are getting like really, really phenomenal type of titles, whether it's Silence of the Lambs or Seven, and you can argue like whether or not that's horror, but you got Misery, you've got In the Mouth of Madness. You've got all these really amazing films, even like Peter Jackson's Brain Dead or anything like that. And then if you look post Scream for like the next 3 or 4 years, it's like I Know What You Did Last Summer, Urban Legend, like garbage movies, in my personal opinion. And I'm just like, I don't see how.
It's just, they're definitely
it reinvigorated the box office.
Yes.
Which I don't give two shits about. I look at the quality of a film. I'm not the investor. I'm not the person. They're like, well, that just got them to greenlight more movies. I'm like, yeah, more shitty movies. Right? Like, okay. But they're like, well, they weren't greenlighting as many. It's like, well, maybe they didn't need to. Maybe if you're getting Silence of the Lambs,
oh my gosh,
and you're getting these fucking like Academy Award winning movies, and then you're gonna tell me that like I Know What You Did Last Summer came around, and you were like, thank God for Scream. It's like, I'm sorry, but those are that's not good enough evidence to me.
Yeah.
Because I can tell you right now, the Blair Witch Project was not in light of
influenced
Scream,
by Scream.
Right? Like if you look at the things that came out after Scream that I love, it's not Scream-esque.
Sure. Yeah.
In fact, the Blair Witch is more responsible for kind of and you can talk about found footage and if you like it or not, right? Of course. I don't know if you're a fan of it. But like if you're a hater of it, then then Blair Witch kind of fucked everybody. Because we got Paranormal Activity eventually, and then that's really what hit the found footage style.
Yeah.
Because horror has always been about having a very modest budget with a big return. Right? Like that's the whole model. That's how the 80s was done. It was like Halloween made so much money. Let's capitalize on that. Right. And so we had that same thing happen. We have that same thing happen every generation. Every 10 years, there's some horror movie that comes out and it makes a ton of money. And then the studios for the next like 5 years try to emulate that success. And that's true of all genres.
I was going to say, I think that, I mean, one of the things I feel a lot of people love about horror is that you have so many different subgenres in it. You know, you can have the horror comedies that are just goofy and zany and gory or whatever. And then the more, like psychological, like really deep emotional, like digging type of movies. And, that's great. For people who love horror, you have so much to choose from. So, obviously Scream has a ton of fans. So for some people, it really did change horror for them, Yeah. But I don't know.
It's not my generation. And I think that's another thing too, is like, I was already super into horror at that time and Scream didn't get me into horror like a lot of people, And
I also want to preface this with saying post Scream, late 90s CW horror movies are not my favorite genre.
I didn't think they were. I didn't think they were.
I not at all. I think that's a very rough patch. I think that horror is eras of horror are defined by like high concept movies that come out and then kind of make waves. And I think we got a lot of that in the 80s and a lot of that in the late 2010s. The early 90s is great. Like I feel like the early 90s is a combination of like the more off-kilter, funny, kind of in-your-face, gruesome, like vibe that would come from like a Sam Raimi film or
Mhm.
even
Sure.
one of the more obscure giallos, while also having like some more like literary concepts in there, all of like Stephen King. And so I really love, like, I have a VHS collection. There's a reason I stopped collecting them post 1996. And very cool. Wow, that is a cool collection. I did not notice.
Yes.
That's all VHS. Yeah.
On that wall.
Yeah. Oh wow. Oh my gosh. No, okay. And but yeah, like the early 90s are I just think are so fun. 80s is not my favorite, but I love the late 2010s, and I think we're about to enter a really cool era after
Oh yeah.
and the Black Phone and Smile.
Yeah, I
So,
totally agree.
in the last 10 years of horror, what's like a few titles that immediately come to mind for you that you love?
Get Out
Hmm.
is great. I feel like Get Out is like a weird culmination of everything I love. Like it feels like an extended Twilight Zone anthology piece while also having like just like brilliant acting and like dialogue and just the screenwriting. Like there's not a single shot or piece of dialogue in the movie that doesn't belong. In the last 10 years, I think The Black Phone is like powerful, like more powerful than it has any right to be. Like I do think that's Scott Derrickson's best movie, and I do also prefer The Black Phone to any other like postmodern Stephen King child being taken by a weird supernatural entity. I'm including Stranger Things in it, which I both really like. But yeah, The Black Phone has been like by far my favorite of that, and I think it basically is great in every way. I think that the last 10 years, I think Get Out is really great. I really like The Black Phone. And I'm not just sucking up to Blumhouse right now. I think it is definitely like a very honorable mention. Like in terms of making a studio movie that's an adaptation of that book.
Oh my gosh, that book.
Basically impossible in every way to do. Like the things they omitted were really smart, and the chemistry with the kids that were in it are great. There are some good indies that I think are really worth mentioning. There's The Taking of Deborah Logan is interesting. I think that Trick or Treat was like 20 years ago, 15 years ago. But
no, it's not that old. I'd say Trick or Treat is
2009 type.
Oh shit! It might be
think
that
so.
old.
Actually, yeah,
is it really that old?
Yeah.
Damn.
Oh, Krampus is great too, by the way. I really like Krampus. And I think that is going. Oh, and Hereditary and X are both. What about you guys? What do you guys think are some?
Oh man.
First thing I would say is I think you would be perfect for Stranger Things, so you need to get on that show.
Oh my gosh.
For it 4 times.
Yeah.
Jason is dead. They need a new bully, man.
You should totally keep pursuing that, because that would be really cool to see you.
I actually got kind of close.
You know who you would have been good as? Argyle.
Yeah.
That was one of the characters I auditioned. I went to, I either went to the Duffers or I went to I went to the producers for Argyle, but I remember I did read for the initial group of kids when I was like 12 or 12 to 15, that age range. I might have been a little old, but then I auditioned. I remember I actually started auditioning for season 4. I auditioned for season 4 3 times. One of them was a bully. And I was actually in. Did you guys see season 4?
Yes.
Of course.
Did you guys like it?
Loved it.
Yes.
Yeah, we're going to the Stranger Things experience in LA in 2 days.
Yeah, it's a Sunday.
Cool. And the geeky kid with the glasses. That was the first character I auditioned for in my Run, Hide, Fight wardrobe. I shot it while filming that movie. I was like, "Could I please borrow these glasses? Like they're perfect for this audition. Like these Jeffrey Dahmer glasses are like perfect for this weirdo." And they're like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Great." And then I just taped it, I sent it, and then a few months later I auditioned for Argyle, and then like a year later I auditioned for one of the shaved head kids that like messes around with 11. Argyle would have been so fun though. I was an experienced weed stoner by the time I auditioned for Argyle. But yeah, that was I just remember they had the dummy sides from Pineapple Express. James Franco, like this is the book, like that type of like, Cheech and Chong type. So I just really riled it up for that, and it got me kind of far. But I don't know. It's hard to label how far I got in movies or shows in general. But I do remember going in for Stranger Things a number of times, and yeah, oh my gosh, I would love to be in the show Netflix.
We'll send it over.
Upside Down Productions. I am available.
I'm available.
Well, Metropolis seems to think that you'd be good as Slash.
Oh my gosh. My new best friend, Metropolis. Greatest compliment I've ever received.
There you go. It makes sense. You got the hair, man. You just got to put on the top hat.
Yeah.
And then you can, they'll do some Slash story, and you can play young Slash.
Young Slash.
Love that.
I'm all about that. And he also says that Children of the Corn got him into horror.
That's funny, Metropolis. That's like the first horror movie I remember watching was the Children of the Corn movie.
That's cool.
The Children of the Corn series. I'm somebody who, a lot of people shit on the Children of the Corn series, but I've stated many, many times that Children of the Corn 3 and 4 are really good movies. And I'll always say that. Children of the Corn 2 is very bizarre. The final sacrifice. I love how they always throw the final in all these fucking movies, and then they make 17 more.
Yeah.
But that's
final nightmare.
The final
no more nightmares after this.
No more.
I mean, they were right. And then there was the new nightmare right after that. So the final, the new, once again. But yeah, how familiar are you with the Children of the Corn series?
I am not too familiar with the entire franchise. I'm familiar with the story. I'm very familiar with the story as an avid King reader. But I don't know. I think that there are definitely things to do with that story. I think the thing that's missing about Children of the Corn for me, I feel like none of the movies, like if you read the story, it's a very melancholic and sad and depressing and genuinely creepy, frightening, like, oh, maybe life does suck. Like that's kind of the feeling you get after reading Children from the Corn. Like there's this paragraph just about like the monster's the one who walks or the one who stalks something.
He
like
who
that.
walks behind the rose.
Yes. Way better than what my interpretation of
whatever the hell you said. Yeah.
Also, once again, being a subtitle for a horror franchise, like, can we make that happen? Like Halloween once again, like Children of the Corn once again.
Instead of acting, you should name movies, as it should be your job and characters. Get Cyrus on it. We need a character name quick. Call Cyrus.
I love it.
Yeah, I feel like none of the Children of the Corn films captured quite. It's almost like a Villeneuve, like just like sad, like country story, about like just coercion and weirdness. So I think that when there's a Children of the Corn movie that truly captures that vibe, I'm there. I'm down to see more. But the 80s film is fun, but I was never really grabbed by the franchise.
You should watch 3 and 4. I think they're really, really good. I will say this little fun fact. I do laugh like when I get it, but like I'll laugh when people talk to me about like they're like, oh man, they took the source material for The Hobbit and they really stretched that out. I can't believe they made 3 movies off that one book. And I'm like, have you guys heard of Children of the Corn?
Right, yeah, that's a
Because fun fact, there's more entries in the franchise than there are pages of the book. And that is a literal fact.
Yeah.
The pages of the novella is 8 pages. And we currently are on our we're gonna have our 10th Children of the Corn movie here. You want to talk about exhausting the resources of your source material?
Wow.
Holy shit, have they raped and pillaged the Children of the Corn, man.
Oh my gosh. So Cyrus, so as an avid King lover, do you have like a favorite adaptation? So like film adaptation or TV adaptation? And then what would be your favorite book?
Okay.
It doesn't line up.
So to answer the book question first, I'm in the middle of my Pet Sematary read. It is freaky. So good. And it's
I sent my copy back.
You sent it back.
Yeah, because there was a misprint. They spelled cemetery wrong on the front. I was just like, what the fuck is this? You guys don't even know how to print books. Jesus Christ.
And yeah, I'm in the middle of my Pet Sematary read. And as someone who's kind of young but growing into, like, I'm really wanting to, that's something else that gravitates me toward the channel. Like, I'm really wanting to like get around looking forward to having a family and marriage. Like, that's something that if I close my eyes and pictured like a future for myself that I really want, like my 18-year-old self, which was kind of more ego driven, would have probably answered something regarding acting, winning the Oscar, whatever. But now, like, my values are definitely in line with like traditional familial, like, I don't know about traditional, but just the idea of like being just giving stability and reliving my childhood through kids is just something I'm really looking forward to. And Pet Sematary, if you are looking forward to that, and if that is one of your values, do not read the book, because it will forever traumatize you and will make you never want to be around any kids, and it will make you want to stay away from the whole family. It is the anti-Christmas. Let me just hang out with my friends and not do anything for the rest of my life. I think it after reading Pet Sematary.
Oh my gosh, that's so true.
So I think Carrie is probably my favorite King book. I have to finish Pet Sematary. I might say Pet Sematary. His short stories, I honestly think some of his short stories are better than books. Rainy Season is so weird and just great. And I actually, when I was a teen, I wrote the Stephen King Foundation and bought the $1 Baby. Do you guys know about that program?
Yeah,
I do. I bought the rights for $1 to Rainy Season. And I never made it, but I got my Stephen King cake and ate it too later. But
you gotta make it, man.
Yeah.
What were you doing during COVID?
It was actually during it was before COVID, but yeah, that would my favorite King movie is, I've seen all of them. It would be weird if I answer The Mangler.
Yes, it would. It would be way weirder if you answered The Mangler Reborn. Then I would probably hang up.
I'm looking at my Stephen King VHS section right now.
I'm gonna challenge you to say that you have not seen as many Stephen King adaptations as me, because I truly have seen them all, and there's a lot. Because if we're counting, so okay, there's got to be criteria here, but if you're counting it all, like I am,
all of it,
right?
Yeah.
Like bullshit titles, like Trucks, and like fucking yeah. With like Trucks, and then you got like the fucking movie Return to Salem's Lot, like from Lloyd Kaufman and stuff like that. There are some really, like, there's so many weird, obscure like sequels that are like not official.
I definitely have,
like The Mangler 2 and The Mangler Reborn, and sometimes they come back, and sometimes they come back for more, and sometimes they come back again, and sometimes they come back to fuck your mom. Forever. I think that was a different one though.
That was a different one.
I watched that on a different
I didn't see that in the horror section.
Shit, I'm on Pornhub. How did I get on here? Sometimes they come on your back.
That one was too easy.
That one wrote itself.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a slam dunk right there, Jason.
My favorite King book is Salem's Lot. Salem's Lot.
I don't know if I could say that. I can't. I was about to say. All right, I did see the new Salem's Lot.
No, are you serious?
And,
whoa! What? Did you get into what test screening?
My friend sent me a link and was like, shit, I probably can't talk about this. I can't talk on it. But yes, that's all I'll say about Salem.
Okay.
I'm
super cool.
All I'll say is I'm looking forward to it heavily because I think Gary Dauberman has I think he has a lot of talent. So he's really, really good at adapting King, as you said with It. I think he was faced with a lot writing It. And I think that his directing in Annabelle Comes Home is excellent. So with him being able to adapt King super well and showing off his chops as a really good horror director, especially one that did the kind of haunted house type movie that he did that created a really great atmosphere, for him to take on like Barlow and that stuff, I think would be fantastic for him. So I'm hoping, I know you can't talk about it, but I'm hoping that you liked it. You can wink if you
all right. If I blink twice, there's a good chance you will be content with this, with a lot of the decisions they made.
That was great.
That'll be on TikTok tomorrow.
Oh my God.
Actor Cyrus Arnold, who's bully actor Cyrus Arnold.
Oh my God. So what do you say for the film adaptation for you?
I think
The Mangler, he said
The Mangler was
I love Cat's Eye and I love Tales from the Dark Side, the movie as well. Those are like my guilty, I love this Stephen King adaptation. Like I do love the kind of schlockier adaptations. I don't like any of the Carrie adaptations. I want to know.
Wow. There's a lot to choose from.
Yes. I don't like any of them. I think the 76 one is by far the best.
Yeah.
But I don't like any of them. I think
you don't like The Rage Carrie 2? Come on, you like schlocky movies, man. The Rage Carrie 2.
The Rage 2, I might turn on every once in a while.
I saw that shit in theaters, bro. Opening night.
Okay.
Wow.
I'm that age. I'm this many years old.
This many.
I saw The Rage Carrie 2. I think that came out in 98.
Oh my God, this is so
I was like
funny.
16.
Yeah.
And I went, yeah. I'm old. It's okay. It's okay.
No, not
there.
at all. You were just there.
You guys are the young
and just there when Carrie 2 released.
I was there when Carrie 1 released. No, I was not there. 99. Oh, Ricky says 99. Okay, that makes sense. I was 17 years old in 99. Okay, that makes a little more sense. Oh yeah, I have not seen Chapel Wait. I have not watched that. The Adrian Brody show that they put on Epics or some channel like that, some bullshit channel you can't fucking get. Like Direct TV channel. You ever, when people put Direct TV movies, you're like, get the fuck out of here. Nobody's watching that.
No.
So annoying, man. Fucking release it on Amazon. A regular person, you fucking pricks.
Come on, where's my Netflix? Why can't this be on Netflix?
Everything's got to be on Netflix too.
I haven't seen that show either. I haven't heard anything about it either.
I've heard good things. But as I said, it's on some bullshit network. I think it's on Epics.
I don't know.
Something like
that sounds right.
Some bullshit nobody's ever heard of, doesn't have access to, nobody gives a fuck about. And they're like, come check out our rad show. I I had to do that with a couple shows. I had to do that. There was a really rad horror show 2 years ago called 30 Coins on like HBO International, like some Spanish HBO.
Fuck is that?
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm not being racist by putting an O at the end of HBO, but by being the Spanish HBO.
HBO.
That's the joke, is that Spanish is just English with an O at the end. Have you ever heard that? No, I'm telling you, it was so funny. Okay, this is a really funny story. We were talking about that one time, and I was like, and somebody said like, well, what's the Spanish word for sex? And I was like, it's probably sexo. And then we looked it up, and it's literally fucking sexo. It was just a sex with an O at the end. I was like, you're fucking kidding me.
That's because they're romance languages. They have the same root.
Kaylee's
same Latin
the
root.
language expert.
No, definitely not.
So yeah, Chapelwaite looks. I literally know nothing about it.
No,
I just know that it has good ratings, and that Adrian Brody is the star. I don't even know what it's about.
Yeah, I don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Lay off that Viagra, bro. It's the only way I get it up, man. Why would I lay off of it? I need to lay into it.
Well,
it's the only way I can lay into it, actually. You want to be really specific. So, Creepshow. Creepshow is a good pick.
Creepshow is good.
It's not an adaptation, obviously. But yeah, my favorite's The Shining. I don't know. That's funny. I don't know what. Did you pick, or did you tiptoe around that answer? Did you pick something for a Stephen King adaptation?
I'm having trouble because there's just so darn many that it's hard to think of. I'm gonna say Cat's Eye is my favorite Stephen King movie. My favorite.
Wow.
Cat's Eye.
This is I like it because it's such an eccentric pick.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah. It's not one I was expecting to hear. I don't think I've ever heard any. I'll definitely say I've never heard someone's initial response be The Mangler.
That's wonderful, though.
that is definitely funny. Yeah, The Mangler. Holy shit. What an interesting movie. I if you haven't seen my Mangler review, do yourself a favor. I really went to town on that one. That one made me laugh. There was some really funny, ridiculous shit in that movie.
Mangler. I watched it with my family. It's a great.
Did you? Have you ever seen The Mangler 2 or The Mangler Reborn?
No. That's where I get lost in the sauce.
Dude, don't waste your life. Oh my good God.
Don't waste your life.
I know what Mangler Reborn though. It's the elderly man mixed in with the machine kind of thing, right?
So The Mangler 2 is, I don't know how the fuck this is The Mangler, but for some reason in The Mangler 2, it is a like rogue school security system.
Mm-hmm.
How that's The Mangler, you got me. But this is one of those things where they're like, we made a shitty movie. What franchise can we sell it under the banner of so that we can get anyone to pay attention to it? Because it doesn't have that name. No one's ever watching this shit. And then the Mangler Reborn is like this dude who is making this like machine up in the attic of his house. And these dudes like try to break into his house to rob him, almost The Collector-esque. And then like he's feeding people to this machine.
That actually sounds kind of good.
It's not good, Cyrus. Don't make me bully you into not watching.
I love the lean in. That was great.
I will say, okay, I think the best Stephen King adaptations to date. I think Misery is a phenomenal adaptation.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I think Dr. Sleep is superior to the book.
I forgot about Dr. Sleep. I might say Dr. Sleep. It is so good.
Yeah.
Have you seen the director's cut?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Dr. Sleep is actually improves upon the material, in my opinion. I think that obviously the Shawshank Redemption is phenomenal. I think that as far as an adaptation goes, also Mike Flanagan, Gerald's Game as well is a fantastic adaptation and is improved upon in the movie.
I can't compare it to I haven't read the book,
Gerald's
but
Game,
but I just watched it for the first time like a couple nights ago, and it was so scary. I was like so freaked out by it the entire time. So
it is terrifying.
Yes.
We've got non-horror Stand By Me, Dolores Claiborne, Shawshank Redemption, The Green Mile, and Hearts of Atlantis. I do love The Mist. Big fan of that one. There's so many. There's so many. I mean, 190 titles or something at this point.
It's crazy. He just he can whip out so much content. It's like,
well, he's got an army behind him. They put out like 5 a year. I mean, just like a few years ago, they put out like 5 Stephen King adaptations in 1 year.
Right.
And honestly, most of them were terrible. Like that Cell movie with Cusack and Samuel Jackson. That was fucking abysmal. It was so bad. And the ending actually reminded me of how I was reacting to the movie, which was just John Cusack like completely stunned walking in a circle. That was me watching the movie.
Yeah.
I was like, what am I watching? What the fuck is happening here? How is this so bad? Because 1408 might be my favorite Stephen King movie. Oh. And then they follow that up with John Cusack and Samuel Jackson and make Cell, which is unbelievably terrible.
So weird.
Yeah.
And they also made that one with Mercy with Rick Grimes' kid. What's his freaking name?
Adaptation of Grandma.
Chandler Riggs. Yeah, he made a movie called Mercy that same year, and I thought that was pretty terrible. And then 1922 was good, I think, and then Gerald's Game was great, and then I think they also made good like a good marriage or something marriage.
A good marriage.
A good marriage, is that what it is? Yeah. That was like a Lifetime movie because they were doing that. Remember, they were making like Big Driver and they made A Good Marriage. They were doing them on Lifetime, and I was like, Lifetime, get the fuck away from Stephen King. Okay, you guys are not the network for Stephen King. No.
They wanted to be.
A lot of people want to do things that they shouldn't be doing.
The Storm of the Century is pretty underrated too.
We're watching that right now. I'm showing it to her.
Yes,
I've seen it like 10 times.
Yeah,
I've seen it way too many times. I'm also a huge Langoliers fan. You want to talk about shit
the
movies that I love?
The miniseries are really great. Rose Red was a big one for me when I was younger. Like I watched it on the Sci-Fi Channel and was like so into it.
You can't say Mr. Harrigan's Phone, right? I love that movie, by the way. I'm a big fan of it.
That's so nice.
I
can't because I'll sound like a suck up. So I was like leaving Mr. Harrigan's Phone out of it. If I was not in it and I have like no preconceived, I was not an actor and I was like not watching this movie from the perspective of like, I could be one of these characters, like taking any of those notions out of it. I'm serious. It probably would definitely be one of my favorite adaptations because I think that it was, it was always a drama to me. It was never a horror movie. Like it was, it just always was this like melancholic, morbid coming of age story to me. That had some like kind of poignant, I think some really poignant themes about cell phones and addiction and grief. I think that there's some validity in a lot of the themes in that movies. And I don't know how this sounds, but I do my bully is my favorite Stephen King bully. I right under Kiefer Sutherland. I know that's biased, but I do think my Stephen King bully is I just scratched my neck like a heroin addict.
I'm so addicted to my performance in that movie.
No, not even from a performance. Like just the idea of making like the Stephen King bully like just super pathetic look to just experience. That was just great idea from John, and that's just like a great version of it. Yeah, I put Harrigan's in my favorites, I guess, but I was just leaving that out of it tonight. Yes,
you didn't want to be that guy. Well, I will say that at least you in that movie look like you could pass as a high school student, unlike Buddy Repperton in Christine, who looks like a 35-year-old man on steroids who's entered a John Travolta lookalike contest.
Yeah.
Yes. I think Christine is actually one of the Stephen King movies that is superior to the source material.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I really, really love Christine. Yeah, love it.
The one thing that Christine is missing from the book that I really enjoyed was that like imagery. Remember in the book where the car like drives through the house and it's like driving up the stairs and like the door opens and George LeBay is like in the front seat and he's like rotting and there's like a green light on him inside the car. That was a really, really cool depiction of that. And I was like, I love that LeBay was like in the car, his spirit was driving the car, and like the imagery of it like driving up the stairs in the house and shit was like, what the fuck, this is so cool. But I'm sure that would have been really, really hard to do back in 1983. But if they ever do remake it, I do hope that scene makes it into the film and that we do see George behind the wheel in spirit form. I think that would be super neat.
There is another adaptation happening.
I heard. Yeah, I heard.
And I have spoke to my team about wanting to be Buddy Repperton.
How cool though.
I definitely have. In fact, at the Mr. Harrigan's film premiere, one of the very, very nice Blumhouse producers, super sweet. His name is Jeremy. Love him. He was super nice.
I love him so much, man.
Well, he was really nice. And I was like, do I bring up Christine? Don't bring up Christine. Do I bring up Christine? Don't bring up Christine. Like my mind was just bad. I didn't end up bringing Christine up to him.
You're like, hey man, I'm here not to talk to you about Christine.
Yes. Oh yeah.
But if you want to, we can. I'm not saying we should, but if you want to
mention that I'm not gonna pitch myself as one of the Christine bullies. I'm not going to do that, but I am talking to you, and I also brought it up, but I'm not pitching myself.
Hell yeah, man! Hell yeah! I'm down for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm down for it. At least one of his crew.
Oh, that would be
I could be the either of those goons.
Well, the other the one goon obviously is the dude from Friday the 13th Part 2.
Oh yeah, that's right.
The redhead who plays Reptile Sherbakol and Just One of the Guys. Just One of the Guys, speaking of William Zabka, the 80s bully. That guy's doing well.
Yes. Well, so I just wanted to say, I like what you were saying earlier, Cyrus, about like, even though I think people like the general audience will see the characters and be like, they're all bullies, like it's the same thing. Obviously, as an actor, you find the nuances in each of those roles. And I think that's really just cool to talk about because, it's easy for, like I said, the general audience to just kind of gloss over how difficult it can be as an actor to really like separate your roles.
Thanks. Thank you for saying that. And that was definitely So I did here. I'm going to charge my computer very quick because I just saw the battery life on that and it was slacking. But yes, that was interesting because what had happened was while I was filming 8-Bit Christmas, which was like the first of the bully renaissance for me, I got I booked Just Beyond while filming 8-Bit Christmas, and so I was like, okay, I played my audition. I remember my agent writing me and being like, this character is supposed to be 13, but casting was like kind of interested in seeing your take on this like 12-year-old, and I was like, okay. I was like, I think I even called my mom and was like, Ma, I want to know your thoughts, because she guided my acting career throughout my whole childhood, and I'm always grateful to her. She's always been great. She's always walked this line of not being like an insane stage mom, and just being like obsessive about it, and while also being like content putting me in public school, like giving me that social intelligence. Like going through the public school system was just, she used to say, no one's gonna check your ego like an 8th grade girl.
Oh
But
my
I
God.
called her, but I called her for some advice. I was like, do I pass on this? Because it's 13. The audition, I did not know. I didn't read anything about it. All I saw was like 13-year-old bully, the initial notice. I'm like, I don't know. But then I looked and I was like, Seth Graham Smith wrote this. I was like, okay, I have to audition for this. And then they were like, it was so surreal because those were both auditions that I did not even think I would get, like even close, because they're both children. Like in the conception, they're both young, very young children. And and I want to preface, I'm very grateful I did just Beyond, and I was not like, do I pass on this as an actor? Like that was not the vibe at all. It was just like a lot of memorization, and I was like, the kid's 12, do I do this? But no, like I guess as a kid, when I look back on like what it was like to get bullied, like these kids do kind of look like 19, 20-year-olds, 21-year-olds, like in my mind's eye, like they look older than me, even though they might even be younger than me. And so I guess they were going from that perspective. But I just remember 8-Bit Christmas. I looked at it and was like, okay, like I looked at the wardrobe and was like, let loose. Like half of my lines in that movie are just improv.
That's so cool.
there is definitely a R-rated cut of Christmas with some of the improv. Like I was yelling stuff like Jim, like one of the kids tried to tackle me, and I was like, Jimmy, nobody cares about you. You shot your pants, or just like random stuff. And they were like, and the crew was like laughing. And just beyond, it was like interesting because I got to like have bits of that while also be like intimidating and creepy, like a gateway horror kind of thing. And then and so I did definitely look at I didn't go, how do I make this different? I went, well, what would I do with this character's situation? And I do appreciate you acknowledging that. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I lost train of thought. What the hell was I gonna say?
I don't know. I'm sorry.
No, it's totally fine. I'm gonna say, let's see the comments here. Douglas says, Jason, you are totally right. 1408 is fucking amazing, and I would be an idiot if I disagreed. That's very forthcoming of you, Douglas. Good. I'm glad you feel the same as I do.
The only good Stephen King movie is all right.
Oh, is that what it said? I'm sorry, I was paraphrasing. I don't know.
I didn't read
it right.
Arnold Schwarzenegger's The Running Man.
Yeah, right.
Oh, no judgment.
Real close adaptation. Super similar.
Bachman books are weird too.
Any cool Donald Sutherland stories? I thought Harrigan's Phone was a great adaptation, and you were amazing in it.
That's so sweet. Thank you, John. No, because I did not meet him ever. All of our scenes were very separate, and they shot all of Donald Sutherland's scenes. Well, I have Donald Sutherland stories through Jaden. Like Jaden would tell me really funny Donald Sutherland stories. Like he would go use the restroom and be like, "Oh, those pills are, just like those metabolism pills are going crazy on me." Like just like would like joke around like that and just be super and give Jaden advice about like acting and giving him some great guidance. As like a veteran like that, you can only imagine like such an iconic actor coming onto a set. It's so easy to just be pompous and just like be like, obviously I'm the I'm one of the offer only actors here, so I'm just gonna do my scenes and walk away, and sounds okay. Joe, the director, I guess, like, it's so easy to have that like egotistical attitude. Nothing but very humble, very wonderful things about Sutherland I heard from everybody. Just he was super charming with everyone and was just really kind to Jaden as well.
That's wonderful.
I do have Mr. Harrigan's phone stories, like embarrassing moments from the set. Still haunt me, like Mr. Harrigan's ghost. May I run to the restroom very quickly? I have to pee. I'll be 10 seconds. I'll be like,
yeah,
yes.
totally.
I'll time you.
You know what? I'm gonna go to the bathroom too. Actually, it sounds like a good time to have a potty break.
It's just me. Hey guys, what's going on? So, any questions? Christine was just Stephen King, John Carpenterized. I mean, isn't everything that John Carpenter does John Carpenterized or John Carpenterized? Yeah, I said that right. I mean, it's not a word, so I guess I can't. Yeah, Storm of the Century rules. Ricky, I'm showing it to Kaylee right now. We'll finish it tonight. It's 4 hours long, so it's pretty wild. But we watched half of it 2 days ago, an hour of it last night, and we'll finish it tonight for sure. Dreamcatcher, I haven't seen Dreamcatcher in a long time, so I'd like to give it another watch. I know people hate it, and I remember the CGI in that being terrible, but I'll give it another chance. So before you go on with your stories, speaking of pompous, the word is that on the set of Mr. Harrigan's phone, you actually went up to Donald Sutherland and said, "I'm going to be a better bully than your son was in Stand By Me." I heard that's what happened. Is that not true?
Is that not true?
I'm going to replace your son's iconic performance right here in this movie. Take that, Donnie.
Donnie?
Donnie. Take that, Donnie.
You named your kid after a drink. Sick.
Keeper.
Who's your other kid? Yogurt?
I've never had a Donnie before. What is he talking about?
I've never had a Donnie before. So good.
Yogurt Sutherland.
So Ricky asked Michael, I have a question, but I did see this question that just like really poked out at me, and I want to know your guys' thoughts as well. What is one King adaptation that hasn't been made into a film yet? That should. What do you guys?
Carrie. They need to do one of those. They haven't done enough. They haven't done enough Carries yet.
I don't know.
What's funny about Carrie is that it's literally the same fucking film every single time. It's like, why are you guys making the same fucking film? Right? They've made it 3 times now, and every time it's like, this is rinse, lather, repeat. Why the fuck are you doing this again? So anyway, sorry. Stephen King books, even though this was made, the accompanying film wasn't made, and so what I would like to see is them made back to back would be The Regulators and Desperation.
Cool.
Yep, make it with the same cast. Because the stories have like the same characters but in different situations, and you cast the same actors, and then they kind of cross over with each other a bit. So anyways, that's cool. My answer.
I feel
they did make Desperation though, just before people come in the comments.
I haven't read enough Stephen King, unfortunately. Like, I love Stephen King, and I definitely consider myself a big fan, but I don't know that I've read anything that hasn't been made into an adaptation. So I don't think I can answer. I haven't read, you know what I mean? I haven't read Desperation yet.
How much Stephen King have you read, Cyrus?
Oh, yeah.
I've read a fefew books. I've read a lot of his short stories, and my ADHD was all over the place as a teen, but I've read bits and pieces out of every Stephen King book. And I'm very familiar with all of his stories. But yeah, a few of the books, a lot of the ones that have been made into movies, and I've read a lot of his short stories. As far as a movie that has not been made yet, that I would love to see, I'm very eerily curious to see what like a David Cronenberg adaptation of I Am the Doorway looks like, which was his short story about an astronaut who goes to space and encounters like this ooze where he starts growing eyes all over his body. And it's just such
Oh
a
my gosh.
weird, demented, it's such a weird story. I want to see a re-adaptation of Thinner. I think that the movie is kind of hokey and made some very strange choices. It is pretty faithful, but I think that in the execution phase, even though I love Tom Holland, I think that they can do not Spider-Man, the Child's Play director, although I'm sure all of you are very well aware of which Tom Holland I'm referring to. There are so many times where I am talking to my friends and I'm like, oh my gosh, Tom Holland is like one of my favorites. And they're like, why are you talking about him? He's not even a director.
You're like, oh no.
Yes, not Spider-Man. I think that one that has not been made, a Stephen King book, there aren't many, but a Stephen King book that has not been made into a film yet is a book called The Long Walk. Yep. I was up for 2 different canceled versions of the movie.
Oh man.
And they were both the psychotic character, which would have been wonderful. I don't know if you add that to the bully.
I don't know.
Another really good one would be Revival.
Mike Flanagan was going to make Revival.
I know, but Mike Flanagan's a little busy with his Dark Tower adaptation, supposedly.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm starting to read the Dark Tower series right now, and I just finished the first book, and I've started the second one, and I would love to see. I mean, I know that there is a version of it that exists, but I've heard it's horrible. So I think Mike Flanagan would do an awesome job.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm very excited to see that. Yeah, I think The Long Walk would be. I mean, Mike Flanagan has gone on record with calling it unfilmable. And I would not disagree. I
call bullshit because they have a movie called It Stains the Sands Red. Have you ever seen that movie?
Oh.
It's a zombie movie, and the entire film is a girl walking through the desert with a zombie in tow, like chasing after her. But it's like she can only walk so far before she becomes exhausted and has to lay down. But slowly the zombie gets closer and closer because it never gets winded, but it can't run. So she like walks as far as she can, as far as away she can get from the thing. And then she like rests. And as she rests, it gets closer and closer to her. Right. So in that whole movie is just 2 people walking.
Right. And as someone who was in a school shooting movie, I feel grateful for that. I can now talk about this kind of stuff with a more trained attitude about it without sounding naive regarding being in this kind of subject matter, because I was in Run, Hide, Fight. I wasn't even meaning unfilmable in terms of a notion of like, oh, this would be hard to do. Like, they made Gerald's Game, and I have read both scripts of The Long Walk. This isn't really out, and I don't have that big of a mouth. I mean, the Salem's Lot thing I regret saying, but this I can definitely. I think Sherry, if this streams on YouTube, edit me saying I saw Salem's Lot. I think that the first. So, do you guys know James Vanderbilt? He wrote the new.
Yeah. Wait, who is he? I know that name.
He wrote the new Scream, but he also wrote Zodiac and The Amazing Spider-Man.
Oh.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he produced Ready or Not, and I think he may have wrote Ready or Not. I'm not sure. His production company, he wrote The Long Walk on spec. He was that much of a fan of the script, and New Line was going to make it with Frank Darabont directing.
That's cool.
And then he dropped out, and then did you guys see Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark?
Oh hell yeah, that's great.
I wasn't 18 at the time, but I was nearly cast as the funny kid in that movie. Like very nearly. Like to the point where I've already met with the director, and they were gonna throw me in with a chemistry with the kids. They were like contingent on casting, and and I couldn't do it because I was not 18 at the time of them casting it, which was way before when the movie came out. And that director, who I feel like I had a really great like working dynamic with, even with just that one work session that was like 20 minutes, was going to direct The Long Walk in the heartbeat before COVID happened. And did you read the book, Jason or Callie?
I have not read the book, but I know the book. I did read Rage, which is about the school shooting.
Right.
I thought that's where you were going with the school shooting thing. I was like, oh, he's going to talk about Rage, which Stephen King says he regrets writing.
Wow. Well, the Andre Overdahl, who directed Scary Stories and Troll and is about to come out with The Last Voyage of the Demeter, he was going to film The Long Walk, and I think my name was thrown around for there's a psychotic character in the movie or the book and theoretical movie that I'm just like love. Like, he's just so obnoxious and so in your face and so volatile and crazy. Not too different from other characters I've played, but still just like would at that age, before playing those kinds of roles, would have killed to play that character. Then COVID happened, and I sent in my audition anyway. I was that passionate about it. Like, I read the book and read the script moreover, and was like, I have the scenes of the character they would audition me for. Like, why I know, like, my team knows the cast director. Like, why can't I just send the audition? And I did.
Need you to make this movie, guys.
I'm still like that, but I remember after I filmed the Mr. Harrigan's Phone, back when New Line Cinema was making mid-budgeted movies for HBO Max, they were secretly developing The Long Walk with James Vanderbilt directing. And that's when a lot of people I know also read for it. The initial stages, they were showing tapes for boys that made it far into the Andre Overdahl version of the movie. And because I sent my audition in without it even being asked for, I was one of the tapes shown. And he liked me. So much so that I got a second audition. And then I went even further up the chain. And then David Zaslav bought Warner Brothers, and they canceled the movie. Yeah, I believe 7 weeks before it was supposed to shoot. So
gosh,
I didn't, there was no offer sent, and I didn't even meet the guy. I didn't know that I was getting down I don't know the wire, but I was going down a wire to be in.
Yeah,
but because
one of these wires.
But yeah, I don't know that even not being in it or being associated with it, man, I think that's those two drafts are two of my favorite scripts that I've ever read. Like, they're so powerful, and it was the only time I've ever teared up reading a script. Because there are just certain moments in the Long Walk book that are just like, oh gosh, like, that is hard. And when I read the book, I was like, that's not going to be in the movie. Not only is it in the movie, but it's like one of the like in the writing structure of a script, it's like one of the main plot points of the movie. And like, they really, really like fist you. Fuck me, that was horrible phrasing, but it's a really like muscular script, and just like really powerful and tragic. And and there's some brilliant stuff in there. And so I really hope that script gets made. I don't know who makes it, but that is definitely going to be my answer for a Stephen King movie that I wish to be made. If I'm in it, that's the best world. But if I'm not, because I'm a movie fan too.
I hope when you were auditioning for that, when they asked you what you thought of the script, you didn't write back, I teared up, because that looks a lot like I tore it up.
I tear
it up, man. That shit was awful. Why'd you send me such garbage?
I tear it up. No, No, they usually ask you what you think of the script. They're just like, look, guy, like you're getting this opportunity. You're gonna read.
Right.
You better be thankful.
What does Cyrus Arnold think of the script?
No,
we
no
go through with it.
Was like, what were Cyrus Arnold's thoughts on the new draft? Like that was not happening in the new Adaptations. And most they're like, oh, some crazy kid sending a self-tape, even though we canceled the damn thing. Oh, maybe we'll talk about it when it comes up again. Like that's probably the farthest my name was in the initial stages. Matt, it is a major shame. It would have been, dare I say it? I think it also would have been better than the book. I think the script is actually superior to the book. Yeah, what is special?
Is your Cyrus Arnold your birth name, or is that a stage name? It is a name. Okay, because it sounds like a combination of like famous people, Miley Cyrus and Arnold Schwarzenegger. You're like, I'm just gonna pick some famous people. I'm gonna take some of there.
He's going Miley Cyrus and Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I'm a combo of both, man. I got range.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man.
What happened?
Oh well, he was plugging his computer in.
Did it die on you? Oh, you're right. We lost audio.
Oh no.
We got no audio on Cyrus. He's taking a long walk.
Oh no.
No.
Not the long walk.
I thought he was upset about the
like,
Miley Cyrus. He's like, nope. Done.
Too far.
Exit conversation. He is frozen. I think you just wrote me. Let's see. Okay. He says he'll be back on in 30 seconds.
No worries.
We need her. Yeah. His Mac died.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to point out to me that he has enough money for a Mac.
Oh my god!
Piece of shit actor trying to rub his fucking wealth in our faces as we're sitting here, like on one of those little kid computers, a little like the ones that they sell at like Walmart for like kids.
The leapfrog
computer.
Yeah,
we're sitting here on a leapfrog.
Oh my gosh.
Hello, my computer has done.
I said some funny stuff about you while you were gone.
Oh, that is a Demon Slayer
shirt. Sure
I know.
is.
We're so proud of him.
Tanjiro,
he's getting
Nezuko.
all into
That's
anime.
Right. That's right.
We started Jujutsu Kaisen a couple days ago.
No, we sure did.
Yeah.
Man, I should have just said like Cyrus Arnold comes on to talk about Stephen King.
I know.
We spent about.
We did talk a lot.
Although you were one of the main characters in a Stephen King adaptation most recently, so
yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah, I didn't mean to talk about the IP so much, but I'm a major fan. What did you guys think of the new Halloween?
We love
obsessed.
It. Yeah, we love it.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people hate it, and they're you're entitled to your opinion as always.
What do you think? What's your thoughts?
It's my favorite of the trilogy.
Yes.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I was surprised that it went the direction it did. It seemed to be an obvious decision to just make it one final confrontation with Laurie and Michael.
Sure.
But I think that it took the interesting seed of the ending of Halloween 4 and like expanded on it in a really brilliant way. That movie still doesn't get enough credit. But yeah, I've always wanted out of a Halloween movie the idea of like evil being transferable. Like that's always been something that has I wanted to see, and that's never really been done in a thought-provoking way. Probably the only instance of it was in the Halloween 4 ending, and so I was really hoping that like these new movies would be about that, and they weren't until they were kind of. And yeah, I just think it's great. I'm really sad that guy that character was axed so soon. I
I
really
know.
I mean,
Oh yeah.
they could have just kind of ended the movie after he
Yeah.
stabbed himself and Lori was holding the knife, and then Allison. Oh, excuse me, spoilers.
It's okay.
People
Allison,
saw it.
Yeah.
People saw it by now.
Yeah.
If they didn't, I don't know what to tell them.
Yeah, I
been out for
totally
so long.
agree. I feel like they could have definitely done a lot more with Corey Cunningham.
right.
But I'm also like, I don't know. I love the movie so much that I'm also just very happy with the ending
Sure.
that we got.
I would
But
1,000% watch multiple Corey Cunningham
Yes.
as Michael Myers movies.
oh my god,
Yes,
yeah,
they were
Yeah.
like,
So,
I was surprised because they were like, we can make 10 of these movies, and I'm like, okay. And then I'm like, I don't think you can, but we'll see. And then they totally proved me wrong. And
Mhm.
until they actually
until they didn't. Yeah.
yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. It's Halloween, right? I mean, how many times has Michael Myers been dead?
Exactly.
Corey got his
Exactly.
neck broke, so now he's just
And-
going to be like in a wheelchair chasing people around.
Who knows? I mean,
You can't kill evil, man. I will say though, as far as the transferring of evil, it's actually depicted even more so in Halloween 6, the producer's cut,
Mm.
when it is actually passed on to Loomis.
Mhm.
Have you seen the producer's cut of Halloween 6?
I have not seen the producer's cut.
You need to watch it, man.
theatrical?
It's drastically different.
Really?
Mm.
The only copy of Halloween 6 I have is the original VHS,
Yeah.
which is not the producer's cut.
I grew up on it, so it's a nostalgia film for me. I love it. But
It's another pre-Scream gem.
Mm.
sure, yeah,
Mhm.
that came out the 1 year before. That came out in 95. I saw that opening night with my mother when I was
Mother.
12 years old. I actually have seen every Halloween since Halloween 4 in theaters. I saw Halloween 4 opening night in 1988. You believe
Yes.
that?
I think that's wonderful.
Isn't that great?
So, Cyrus, do you have a favorite like franchise, a horror franchise?
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
That's the shirt, man.
Well,
All
I
right.
wasn't sure if that was the favorite.
No,
Awesome.
I know. No, of course. Yeah, I love Nightmare on Elm Street. Like, how many fan scripts I have for a reboot that I've written since I was 12 on my dock, I don't even know. But yeah, oh my gosh. Oh, talk about a brilliant concept. I mean, and Dream Warriors is definitely my favorite.
Warriors is-
I think it's kind of objectively the best one. But
Disagreed.
really, which one? The original?
Yeah, two for sure.
Holy shit!
2 and
Far and away,
for
my
me
favorite.
also New Nightmare. I love so much.
Far and
Two is by-
away?
Far and away.
Why?
Yeah. I think it has the best Freddy. I think it has the best
Yeah.
characters. I think it has
Freddy
my-
is scary.
my
He's
favorite
so
scenes.
scary in that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the most iconic line in the franchise is all my children now. I think that Freddy is the scariest in 2. I think his makeup is the best it's ever been. I love Jesse. I love Grady. I love everything about the film. I grew up on it. I think that,
Yeah.
that of course plays into it to a degree, but I really do think like, even if I didn't, I would look at the Freddy in 3 because in 3, and I do find that's because one thing that has always been something with Freddy is like Freddy does have this kind of playful side to him, obviously, and it gets way more prominent the further you go down the series, right? Like by the time you get to Freddy's Dead, it's fucking just like pure comedy act, killer graphics and all that shit. But like when you go back to 2 is the only film outside of A New Nightmare where Freddy has zero comedic moments. Like he's not trying to be funny. He's not trying to be silly. He's not trying to have any like cute little funny one-liners. Even in part 1, he has some kind of humorous moments, right? Like, I'm your boyfriend now. And then he puts he takes the face and he's like, oh, rah, rah, rah. And then he takes it off. It's me, Freddy. And then, so I found the Freddy in Freddy 2 to be the one that is actually 100% at all times horror. and like scary. And as I said, I love Jesse. I think he's hilarious and tragic.
Yeah.
And yeah, I can't say enough good about the movie. We actually just did a watch through about live. You should have joined. You should have joined. We would have loved to have you.
Yeah, no, you have one oncoming, or you just did it?
We did.
We just did it.
We did
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Missed out, man.
That is so interesting, that part 2. And Callie, your favorite is part 2 alongside New Nightmare?
Yeah.
Cool.
I just think New Nightmare, it's so cool. And honestly, I haven't seen one thing that it's really funny with Jason, he's seen so many of these movies like multiple times. And I've seen them like maybe a handful of times. And definitely the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. I don't feel like I've seen them enough to like I would love to revisit, and see how I feel on a second or third viewing of the movie. But I think that New Nightmare is just, it's cool. It kind of, it just has a really neat concept. And I agree with everything that he said about, Nightmare 2. I think that Freddy is the scariest in that. I did not grow up on it, so it doesn't have the nostalgia factor for me, but I was just really into it.
The one I grew up on is part 5, which is very
Dream
weird.
Child.
Yes, I actually have the uncut VHS version from 1989. A few copies of it.
Oh, cool.
What's different about that? I don't think I've ever seen an uncut version of.
It's like significantly better.
Oh, wow.
Is this the first you're hearing of this? Let me show you.
I've never heard of it for sure, so that's really neat.
This right here?
Oh. What? Oh, so it was an actual release?
Yes. So it's the very, very, this is the print from like 1989 that is hard to find. It's one of my most prized possessions, and it is can I sorry, the physicality of putting that away was difficult. I would tell you about what's different about it, because it's basically impossible to access it. Like there's no HD or DVD, like there's nothing. Like on YouTube, you can Google the scenes on YouTube, but basically there's the scene where the anorexic girl is being tormented by Freddy. It's revealed that the weird food that he is feeding to her is her sliced open stomach, and that is in excruciating detail. And and that's much more elaborated on. And the guy who kind of combines with the bike, and it's very quick in the movie, it actually shows like the mechanisms of the bike like going into his flesh, and it's just pretty wild to watch. I
feel like I've seen all of this. Like you're saying that, and I'm like, I've seen that. I saw the bike do that. I saw him feeding her intestines. So I must have seen this and not even realized I'd seen it, because I know those scenes that you're saying. That's interesting. I wonder how. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know.
Look, I have it on VHS, but maybe not that cut.
Yeah.
Maybe it is.
I don't know.
Huh. Okay.
Do you guys have a favorite franchise?
Saw.
Saw.
Saw is my favorite horror franchise for sure. It's the most consistent of the franchises for sure. And I'm a continuity horror. That's my issue. And Fair. Saw has the best continuity in horror.
To find in franchises.
What's up?
That's difficult to find in horror franchises, continuity.
Nightmare on Elm Street actually has a pretty decent continuity, up until 6, of course, but 1 through 5 actually blend together pretty well. Outside of the obvious like recasting of Patricia Arquette with Tuesday Night,
right?
And then 3 kind of outright ignoring 2, but like not saying it didn't exist or anything. It just doesn't, there's no mention of Jesse or anything, right? But I think 1, 3, 4, and 5, they all play off of each other pretty well.
I agree. I think 3 is definitely a direct sequel to 1. Sure. Callie, do you have a favorite?
Halloween probably will be my favorite, but I don't necessarily. It's hard because I love a lot of franchises and I love a lot of like movies within them. So I definitely struggle with picking favorites of things. So I'll say Halloween, but I mean, I don't know. There's so many good ones. I love Of course, Saw.
Child's Play.
I love the Child's
She
Play.
loves Child's Play.
Maybe that is the one that I love,
would say
like,
Child's Play
each
is your
movie the
favorite.
most. You were probably right on that.
Only because of the TV series too, right?
Yeah.
You get so much out of it.
You're right. That's a good point.
Evil
That's
Dead
a good point.
is arguably the best horror franchise too.
Mm.
Like that's a hard one to dispute because Ash versus Evil Dead rules. The Evil Dead remake rules. All three of the Evil Dead movies rule. They just make fantastic content, and Evil Dead Rise comes out soon.
So exciting.
I heard amazing things about Evil Dead Rise. Like, amazing things about it. And I don't know whether it's accurate or not, but I heard amazing things about Evil Dead Rise. That it's like incredible.
Oh my gosh. I hope so.
I'm very excited for that.
I heard amazing things about a lot of movies that I've hated. So
I know.
don't know. We'll see.
It's so
we'll
hard.
see. You never know.
I wanted to show this because I don't know if you saw this comment.
Oh,
Maya
thank you.
I love seeing your acting. I love the pun.
I would love to play a serial killer. I would love to. That sounds awesome.
Yeah. Is that a yellow? Is that a yellow and the red striped Freddy?
There is no. I don't think he has actually.
Maybe think he thinks on the cover of the movie you showed.
Oh, maybe.
Oh, I think that is a weird. I think that's true. I think on the cover it is a yellow and red stripe. I think someone else asked a question early. What was it like working on Zoolander? What
was it like? Oh yeah, Zoolander 2. You played young Derek Zoolander, or his kid, right?
And that has had a renaissance on TikTok.
Oh really?
I guess I'm not on it that much, but my friends are some of my younger friends are just like there's apparently like this TikTok where it goes like he's got the light skin look or something, and it's just me like looking in a camera and a bunch of comments, and it's like and it's like oh my gosh, and like they have millions upon millions of likes, and it's just wild. Like I've gotten like weird comments on my social media from like, oh, it's the Zoolander kid, and I'm like, ah! Like, okay. But yes, I am, and working on Zoolander was like wonderful. Like it was lonely because I was very young and no other kids, at least kids that spoke English, were even around. So I was basically alone with my mom shooting that in Rome, Italy, which obviously boo-hoo, you were in Italy for 4 months. How sad. No, but of course it was definitely a wonderful experience being treated like that and being around that kind of basically the best that comedy can offer. Arguably, I know a lot of people. I know there are some Ben Stiller and Will Ferrell haters out there, but they've inspired me so much. So to quickly wrap that question up. But yeah,
have you mastered your blue steel look, or?
I've definitely lost my. I've definitely lost the heat. My facial structure is definitely different than when I was 12. So I'm definitely. I just remember doing it and Ben going like under the eyes, do it under the eyes, like really like oh, I just kind of did it, but like under the eyes. I do get asked that sometimes, like do the look, and I'm like, okay, I'll do the look. Like
I haven't seen Zoolander in a long time. There's like is it like La Tigra? Isn't it like Blue Steel, La Tigra, and then the main one that he does at the end of the movie is Magnum, right? That's what I thought. I was like Magnus, something. Okay, Magnum. Okay, that's it. Okay, is that the look? Because I never saw the second one. Is that you do that look in the movie? Obviously,
I do.
Which one is that? Which one is that? Since they all
Blue Steel.
It's
Blue
the
Steel. Okay, it is. Okay, I said it right. Wow, I just guessed. That's fucking hilarious.
It is Blue Steel. I do hit the camera with some Blue Steel.
So good.
No.
That's so awesome.
Do you guys have any favorite Christmas horror movies?
Christmas horror.
We really
We've
we really just enjoyed Christmas, Bloody Christmas.
Yes.
We quite liked
I like that too.
Violent Night.
Violent Night was fine. I liked that. Okay.
I liked it. Although I guess that's not really horror. I kept calling it horror, but I guess it's more action.
I think there are definitely horror elements to the movie.
There are. It's like horror light for sure.
Yes,
he was indeed talking about the VHS cover.
Yes.
I mean, obviously, like
we watched. There was one movie that we watched last year that was the Advent Calendar. Right?
Oh, yeah.
That was on Shudder.
Right.
It was a Shudder movie. I thought that one was pretty interesting.
I've seen most of the Christmas horror movies. Obviously all the Silent Night, Deadly Nights. We just got the Vestron Blu-ray for Silent Night, Deadly Night 3 through 5. I think Silent Night, Deadly Night 4 and 5 are actually quite entertaining.
I think part 5 is really good.
Yeah. 5 is hilarious. What's really, really funny, I don't know if you know this or not, if you haven't read into this at all, but it's really fucking funny because and stop me if you've heard this, but I'm going to keep telling it anyways, actually. For anyone, now people are going to be like, what is it? So when Silent Night, Deadly Night came out, there was a ton of protests against the movie. Right. And, moms against movies and all this shit were like, we're really trying to get it pulled down. And one of the celebrities that really put himself out there and was like trashing the film very vehemently was Mickey Rooney.
Yes.
And then he goes and stars in Silent Night, Deadly Night 5 like an asshole.
Yeah.
Another Silent Night, Deadly Night fun fact is that among the contenders to direct the script, which went through a barrage of titles, was Sam Raimi.
The original?
Yes, and I would have. The original, not part 5. Evil Dead 2 was out. He was about to do Darkman, or already did Darkman when they were making that, which is actually my favorite movie. And
Darkman's your favorite movie ever
of all time.
Wow.
Well, Darkman would have came out quite a bit before. Or I mean, not before. I'm sorry. After Silent Night, Deadly Night, because Silent Night, Deadly Night's like what, 1980?
Yeah. No, I meant. No. Silent Night, Deadly Night was like 84, and Darkman was 90. That was like
Okay.
Darkman 3 is great. Interesting. I haven't seen Darkman 3. I don't think. I've kind of stayed away.
Wait a minute. Darkman's your favorite fucking movie, and you've never seen the sequel.
I just don't. I'm not grabbed by the idea of them making straight to video sequels. I just was kind of like, I don't know. Like, also Sam Raimi was like not really attached, so I was like, what are they going to do with this? And also, I did see bits and pieces of the sequels, and
you sat there and watched all 3 adaptations of Carrie. but you don't got time to watch a sequel to your favorite movie.
Check out Darkman 2 and 3. I'm definitely more interested in Darkman 2. But
you don't want to see the return of Durant?
I don't know anything about Darkman, so I don't know.
Darkman Die? You ever seen
that? That is the title of the 3rd movie.
Yeah.
Die, Darkman, Die.
What? Why would they imagine like a superhero movie like Die, Captain America, Die?
Did you not see? Okay, but you like Larry Drake plays the villain, dude. It's like
one of my favorite actors.
Dr. Giggles, bro. Like, you gotta see this shit. You gotta see the
Dr. Giggles.
Darkman versus Dr. Giggles. You gotta see it, man. Like, how could I not sell it to you better than that?
I love Larry Drake. He also plays the Santa slasher in the Tales from
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
Yeah, I'm a huge Larry Drake fan. I remember that. You've seen Darkman, Jason?
Yes.
The opening scene of like, just that was so great and creepy. Just the Yeah, the let's consider my points, and he gets the basically to tell you about it, Callie. I don't want to talk about Darkman forever, but I just have to describe this scene because it's so good. Like, how good the scene is. I literally watched it as a kid and was like, I guess I'll watch Darkman, it's superhero, and then I watched the opening scene and I'm like, what the hell? Like, this is like good horror. Good. The opening scene is basically horror Goodfellas. It's
okay.
it's this like conventional mob boss, and all of his men have like this property, have like this big real estate property, and they're like and these gangsters led by Larry Drake confront this mob boss and are like, we want to buy this property. And the mob boss is like, I got 3 things to say to you. 1, I ain't selling you my property. And 2, and just like a couple of other snarky comments. Like we can cut your balls off where you stand, like really Sam Raimi, like and it's set up that one of the gangsters has a wooden leg, and one of the gangsters swipes at his leg and it ends up being like an AK-47.
Oh my god.
Like shooting everyone, and the mob boss is like, cut him down, and these like cars start coming out and everybody's shooting each other, and there are like dozens upon dozens of stuntmen just like being shot, and it's just chaos. And like the dust settles, and like the mob boss is whipping around like, what just happened? And all the gangsters are like we did it, like we took down your empire in like 30 seconds.
30 seconds,
yeah. And then Larry Drake comes up to him and he goes, let's consider my points. And he gets out his cigar cutter and he goes, 1, and he sticks his finger in it and he goes, I try not to let my anger get the better of me. And he clips it off and he's like, oh, and he goes, 2, I don't always succeed. And he gets the second finger and he goes, and 3, I got 7 more points. Title card, Darkman. Like,
wow.
How great is that? Like,
whoa.
Like, that is so cool, and nobody talks about it.
Oh man.
Question: who gets their finger cut off and just says "ow"? Aren't you an actor?
Ow.
He cuts his finger off, and the guy's like, "Ow!" And then he cuts his other finger off. That was amazing.
Yeah, but
wow.
I will contest that Darkman might be the most Sam Raimi movie I've ever watched in my fucking life.
I need to watch it. I definitely
I'm
like interested.
It's like a blend of every film he's ever made in one movie. It's kind of like Spider-Man mixed with Evil Dead, mixed with freaking A Simple Plan. Like he's just like, fuck it, I'm throwing it all into this one blender of a movie. Do you know who plays Darkman in the sequels? Because it ain't Liam Neeson.
It is the guy, I forgot his name, but he plays the Imhotep in the Brendan Fraser movies.
Yeah, freaking Arnold Vosloo.
Different vibe than Liam Neeson.
Different, yeah.
Liam Neeson is at his best ever in Darkman. Like I still think that's his best performance. Like he's funny and just creepy, and it's wild. Like it's just a wild ride, and it's also a combination of everything I love. Like Sam Raimi wanted to get the rights to Batman and this like pulp hero called The Shadow, couldn't, made Darkman, and so it's just a combination of everything great in the world.
That's always what's so great. You know, I tell people all the time when we talk about films in general, like at the salon, or, you know, talking to kind of more general audience kinds of people, you know, they'll sit there and they'll try to trash a film. And I try to remind people, like, dude, like everyone has their own tastes, and like there's so many movies that you don't realize are like people's favorite fucking movies. So there's so many, because I've talked to people about movies my whole life, and I've heard, like, I'll be like, what's your favorite movie? And I get the weirdest fucking responses sometimes. And you're like, that's your favorite movie ever of any movie. I've gotten Multiplicity with Michael Keaton. They're like, oh my God, it's my favorite movie. I've seen it 1,000 times. And it's just like movies you don't even like, you never even think anyone's watching. You're just like, Multiplicity exists. I don't think anyone's watching it, but it exists.
Yeah.
You know, there's those kinds of fucking answers where you're like, oh yeah, like there's a movie for everybody.
Yes.
And I think it's great because I've gotten so many weird answers. For some reason, I don't know why multiplicity sticks out in my brain as one of the weirder answers I've gotten, but it was so far off of what I was expecting the person to say. So when they hit me with multiplicity, I couldn't like function for a second. I was like, wait, what?
You're absolutely right, Ricky.
Indeed.
Absolutely.
Indeed. Is that an actual picture of you, Ricky? Is that
one of my friend filmmakers who I just finished a independent horror film with him. His name's Adam Mason.
What is it?
Huh?
What's the movie?
Oh, it's called Baby Blue. It has picked up. It has gotten distribution from XYZ Films.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, I made it with my friends. And Adam Mason wrote and it with his partner Simon Boyce. And Adam, I might even see him tomorrow. I think Adam directed a movie called Songbird. Did you guys hear about this? It was the COVID.
Yeah, this is the one during COVID.
Yep. Adam wrote and directed Songbird. He is a huge horror fan. And has made many horror movies and is attached to many big horror movies. And his all-time favorite horror movie is Fright Night Part 2. It might be, I think if I'm not mistaken, it might be his favorite movie. So when he said that, I was like, crazy. I mean, it's like,
it's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like,
Fright Night Part 2. Wow.
Yeah.
I like all the Fright Nights. There's 4 of them. And the newest one. Yeah, Fright Night got a remake with Colin Farrell.
Oh,
and then they made this like kind of straight to DVD. I know that's beneath, some actor of your caliber who doesn't watch straight to DVD movies.
I didn't mean it like that.
You should have heard what I said about your Macintosh computer earlier when you were, getting. I was like, oh, a big fancy guy can afford a Mac. And I'm over here.
Big fancy guy. We were like, we're on a leapfrog.
Yeah, I was like, we're on
Walmart.
a fucking leapfrog computer over here talking to this guy on his Mac.
My best friend's favorite movie is The Fountain.
Oh wow, is Maya your best friend?
My friend Rio is like always talking about The Fountain. He's like, have you seen The Fountain? Like, you have to see The Fountain. And I'm like, I've not
seen it. It's a good movie. Have you not seen it?
I have not seen it.
It's a Darren Aronofsky film. I think he made it he made Requiem for a Dream, and then I want to say it was before Noah for sure, and it was after Requiem. It's a great tale about like living in the moment and not trying to because Hugh Jackman is this scientist who is trying to cure his wife's illness. And the film is told from like 3 different perspectives of time. You've got kind of like this Ponce de Leon story going on where Hugh Jackman plays him looking for the Fountain of Youth. And then you've got modern times where his wife is dying of cancer and he's a scientist who's trying to cure her disease, or whatever her disease is. He's trying to cure it. And she's like begging him the entire time to stay with her. Like, please, like I'm fucking dying. And he's like, no, I have to save you. I can do this. Right. Like if I just invest enough time. And he spoilers for the film, but he cures it as she dies. Right. And then he cures death itself in doing so. And then he has to live for eternity without his wife, regretting the fact that he didn't just fucking pay attention to her when she was dying. So it's like really, really, really profound of like, you can have all the time in the world, but if it's, time you just sit there regretting the limited time you had with someone, like it doesn't matter how much time you get. It's whether it's worthwhile that it matters. Right. So
yeah,
great stuff. absolutely, really cool
Mhm.
pick for a film for sure. But,
Yeah.
yeah. Anyways, she mentioned it. I thought I'd give it some attention because she's right. It never does get talked about, but it's a great fucking film.
Do you guys have an all-time favorite movie?
Well, Halloween. I mean, I grew up on. My favorite film in the last 10 years is La La Land.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with it.
He loves it.
And yeah, Lord of the Rings, of course, is a huge one for me. Fuck, man, there's so many. It's
there's
tough.
so I
mean, I've
hate
seen
it.
literally
I hate
like
picking.
5,000 films in my life. But what? Yeah, like
I
what
hate
would be your
picking.
answer?
I know because like I mean like Halloween for sure.
It's
I
Dark
love
Man, Dark Man 2,
it's
isn't it?
no, it's not Dark Man 2. I love, but then there's like so many horror movies. I'm like, oh yeah, I love it. Like I love Hereditary, love all this, love In the Mouth of Madness. But then there's like Muppets Christmas Carol, which I like am obsessed with and watch all the time. And then I think of like the movies I watched like when I was, like a teenager and like younger. And it's like the 2005 like Pride and Prejudice. I'm like super into that. I watched the Phantom of the Opera movie so many freaking times. I was so obsessed with Phantom of the Opera. So I don't know. I have a lot, but
there's phases you go through in your life where you watch movies. I mean, I sat there and I watched Blair Witch 2, Book of Shadows, like every night for 2 months in 2000.
Sure.
You just get these weird movies you become obsessed with, and you don't know why.
Yeah.
True.
I do think The Thing is probably the greatest horror movie ever made.
Absolutely, it's phenomenal. Phenomenal.
I love Halloween. I mean, I grew up on it. I put Michael at the top of the pack for the reason. Yeah, I don't know. Halloween's always been my go-to.
Yeah.
How much that's earned and how much that's nostalgia, I don't know. But man, I'll tell you, every year I see incredible films. I mean, there's so many wonderful movies that are made every year. It's tough, man. It's tough. I think Denis Villeneuve makes some of the best movies currently. I think he's probably the best director currently working. So, like Blade Runner 2049 and Prisoners and fucking so much. Dune and all that shit. I mean, there's just so many amazing films coming out currently. It is hard to pick, but Halloween is my go-to pick. And so
yeah. I mean, it's like as you said, there's different phases. I mean, Halloween 2, I think, is also really important for us because it's kind of
Halloween, not Halloween 2.
Yeah, Halloween as
well.
Yes, Halloween too, because we got engaged at the Myers house, and it's definitely like for us, it's a huge, just connection that we have, obviously. So that will definitely probably be my answer.
You guys got engaged at the Myers house?
Yeah.
You want to hear something crazy?
Yes.
Is while we were getting engaged at the Myers house, there was someone that was at the Myers house, dressed as Michael Myers, inside the house, up in Judith's room, looking out at us as we were like, as I was proposing. And then he watched the whole thing from the window and then gave us like the thumbs up when we were done. So we were like, oh, that was so cool. Like there was a Michael Myers in the Myers house behind us.
Yeah.
So then if that wasn't cool enough, I get a text from my buddy, Jeremy, a few months later. And he's like, dude, are you ready for this? You're going to freak the fuck out. And I was like, what? And he's like, you want to know who that was in the Myers mask upstairs? And I was like, oh shit, who? And he's like, that was director Michael Daughtry from Trick or Treat and Krampus. And I was like, you're fucking with me.
Apparently he was like renting
it out to write a new script
as like an office space.
Right? I was like, what is happening?
So cool. So cool.
Right?
That is polarizing, but so cool. Wait, what script was he writing where he had to rent out Myers' house? I need to read that. He wrote a throwback.
We actually, right here, babe, if you reach in here and grab, there's a magazine right in here. It should be in there. Let me see. Is that it? Yeah, this is it. So in Remind, we picked this up because we
there's
months and months later, there's an article Michael Daughtry in here, where he's in the Myers house right here. That's him upstairs in Judith's room, and he was watching us through this window while we were getting engaged. Here's him, and so this confirmed what my buddy texted me later. I was like, "Oh shit, he really was there. That really is 100% true story." In here, the dates match up, so there's no doubt it was him. So amazing, right?
That is wild.
Yeah.
Wait, my computer is free. Oh, are we back?
Yeah,
Oh,
you're good. You were never left.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, my computer was freezing for a second, but
don't worry. You did it quick enough in between freezes.
Okay.
So do I know we're and I know we need to get food.
Kaylee's like, let's wrap this shit
I want to
up.
know, is Darkman you said was your favorite, right? That's your favorite all time.
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that we got. No, I don't want to wrap it up. I'd love to keep talking.
Let's do it again,
I'm
man.
just hungry.
We should do,
Yeah.
we're going to have you on as a regular guest. You're a horror fan first, just here to fucking like promote your movie and be like, hey, watch this coming this spring.
So we would love that too. I think it would be great for you
fucking
to
promote your movies. You
Yes.
should promote your movies while you're on here. Tell us again about the movie you got coming out.
Yes, and also yes, thank you guys. I would love to come back. Like I love the channel and I love you guys, and I have so much fun on here. So it's just wonderful.
Awesome.
Awesome.
The movie is
okay. Good night. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Oh my gosh.
It is called Baby Blue. More details will be unveiled when a trailer comes out. It's basically what was proposed as a grindhousey found footage movie to take horror to the roots of something akin to Tobe Hooper and something being genuinely frightening, turned into a really fun experiment in horror comedy a la Sam Raimi. It is a satire on social media culture. It is a satire about any stupid YouTube vlogger that you see filming dead corpses without familial permission or anything like that. This is definitely at the crux of it. I don't want to give too many plot details away, but I got to kind of flex my comedic and horror chops, I guess. But it was a blast doing it, and Adam is a wickedly talented, brilliant guy. And I will definitely talk about it more when more details got unveiled, or when I get another job soon, or hopefully soon.
I will say that if you were just saying everything about the movie, if you just said that to me without saying you were in a movie, I would 100% think you were talking about Deadstream.
Oh,
everything you just said matches up with Deadstream. It's like
Really?
a slate on like. Have you seen Deadstream yet?
Oh,
Oh,
Bro,
you must. It's like
watch it tonight.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
It's
easy
so-
top 3 of the year.
Yes.
Easily.
so great. Such
top
a
3 of the
wonderful
whole
horror comedy.
year.
Yeah,
Oh my
It
god.
was
It's
like-
phenomenal.
and it was so
if you
unexpected.
love Evil Dead, do yourself a favor and watch Deadstream.
Yeah,
It fucking rules
Yeah.
so hard. And it is everything you just said. It's this like grindhouse take on found footage that's talking about vloggers and how fucking ridiculous they are. The guy in the movie who leads it is so fucking funny. His
Oh
name's
my
Joseph
God.
Winter. I'm trying to get him on the show. He
Yeah.
also did the last segment in VHS 99 that just came out,
Mhm.
which is also great. Him and his partner, I don't know if it's his wife or his sister or whoever, they have the same last name, so I don't know. But he goes to this house as a streamer, and he's like being dared to stay the night there, and he vlogs it the whole time live. And it is as Evil Dead, but it's so funny.
Oh,
The
man.
creatures, there's like 15, 20 different practical effects creatures in the movie that all rule.
Yeah.
The fucking comedy lands, the horror lands, the everything about the movie, dude. I love it.
Yeah.
It's a fucking 5 out of 5. It's so great, dude. It's on Shudder. If you're a Raimi fan, it's like the ultimate Raimi love fest.
Yeah.
I'm watching it. Done. I'm sold. Top 3, and it's a Raimi love letter. Okay.
Dude, text me after and tell me how much you loved it and how much you want to thank me, because it's on Shudder. Did you see VHS 99?
I did, because actually one of the lead actors in Baby Blue is the girl who gets buried in the coffin in that movie.
Oh, cool. Cool.
Okay.
She's great.
She's awesome.
Yeah, she was wonderful in that.
She's so brilliant, and she's brilliant in Baby Blue too.
So the guys who did Deadstream are the ones that did the one where the guys go to hell and they have to break out of hell.
Oh, cool! I love him. He was great.
He's
oh my god, even
way better.
Yeah,
and I love that segment.
Yeah,
but this is like that for an entire film, but better.
Oh man, yeah.
Okay, I'm watching Deadstream. I'm sold.
Yeah, it's on Shudder. Watch it. It fucking rules. And I'm really curious to hear your thoughts. So yeah, just hit me up. Text me.
Absolutely. I will definitely message you not only about Deadstream, but yes, I'd love to come on another stream.
Stay in contact, man. This ain't just some quick stream for me. We brothers for life now. I'll be like my one of my good friends is a bully. Don't be jashing bullies around me. I know a bully.
Yeah. This is the antithesis of bully. No.
Thank you.
Cyrus, it was a pleasure. Thank you for coming on. I was expecting like 30 minutes and he gave us the full Monty.
Yeah, it was so wonderful.
Super happy that I came on here, and I love horror movies, love this channel. Thank you guys for having me.
Of course. Don't leave yet. We'll talk in the thing, but bye to everybody else. Bye. All of the losers who can't see the sign who don't get behind the scenes access. Whoa, I went real porno there. All right. Bye, guys.
Real porno.